Welcome to the Modern Medicine Movement Podcast. Woohoo! Hey guys, so grateful, so happy to be here with you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Woo! Today is Thanksgiving. That's something we can all be grateful for. Woo! Yeah, so exciting. Thanksgiving Day today. Just wanted to wish you all and yours a wonderful holiday, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful holiday season. Holy moly, what a couple of weeks for me. I'll get into that in the podcast a little bit, how I really had to dig deep and use the power of gratitude in my life, because there were some moments where it was dark and I couldn't see past 60 seconds, let alone 5 minutes, and let alone a week. And so I'm back. I'm here with you, and I'm grateful. And I can't wait to share that with you. So welcome. I appreciate you guys so much. So exciting right now. We got last week, we released our first newsletter. Today, Thanksgiving Day, the Thursday to Thrive with Dr. Thomas is here again. So hopefully that's in your inbox this morning. If it's not, you got to hop on over there to my website, modernmedicinemovement.com, so you can be able to sign up. There's a link there where you can sign up. I know sometimes from the phone it looks a little screwy. It typically does work to sign in from the phone, or I should say sign up from the phone, but you can also do it from your laptop, your iPad, whatever device. Sign up for my newsletter, because we'd love to get that out to you. We have it every week for free. Lots of cool health pearls, and you can see what's going on with me and just kind of have a 2-minute positive vibe session, because that's what I'm all about. So hopefully you've signed up for that, modernmedicinemovement.com. Also for my free Facebook group, Modern Medicine Movement Podcast Facebook group. We post up when the podcast gets released every week, some pearls, I go live in there, which I'm going to do real soon, because I want to announce after the end of this Thanksgiving weekend. I know you guys are busy with family and stuff, so I want to do it after this weekend. Get you guys, I'm going to pick two winners. Isn't that awesome? Where you will get, two people out there will get my entire course, $200 health course, which is just, I don't know, I forget how many hours, 24 hours plus of me, teaching you all these cool health topics. A lot of them I've covered in my book, which is coming out hopefully. We'll see. There's been a couple hiccups, but hopefully early next year we'll have an amazing book for you guys, so be looking for that. But I'm going to choose two winners out of those people who have written me a review that I can read and see and share. And hopefully you've hopped on over to Apple Podcasts. If you haven't, go ahead and scroll down to the bottom where you see those 5 stars. Click on the one to the right, farthest to the right, and then write a review. There's a little button below that says write a review. I'm going to share with you one from... I'll just do this one. It's kind of fun. 5-star review from Busy Bee. Thank you for doing this and sharing your knowledge. I appreciate a male voice that I can refer my husband to. LOL. Hey, I still say that too, man. LOL. That's I'm old school. I'm an avid podcast listener, but he looks at it as if it's a chick thing. Well, there she said it. We're old. No, you're not old. Old is only a state of mind. We are young, not only young at heart, but we can be young in the body. And we can avoid all of those top health challenges that are out there in this country, like insulin resistance, heart disease, diabetes, especially type 2. All these things are basically entirely preventable. And in the book, I talk about that. So thank you for sharing it with your husband. Come on, dudes. We need some dudes out there. We need some gals out there. We need everybody out there, because this is information that can literally change your life. So I'm so happy to be back sharing it with you today. So excited, so grateful. And so we're going to get into it. So once again, happy Thanksgiving. Today, being Thanksgiving Day, I figured, what the heck? How could I not share about the science of Thanksgiving or gratitude? There's actually a fair amount of science on gratitude. Gratitude has been studied. It's been evaluated in even the highest order of evidence, called the peer-reviewed, double-blind, randomized controlled trial type of setting, prospective randomized controlled trial. I'll share one of those with you today, but just wanted to start this out, give a shout out to a guy that I love to listen to, who's one of the most famous speaking icons out there. Also, many have heard his pitch on gratitude. And this is my man, Tony Robbins. So hopefully you'll get a chance to listen to this, Tony. You love to share how you say, quote, that, what's wrong in the world or what's wrong in your life, the situation, whatever, what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. And that is so true. So is what's right. That is also available. So it's what we choose to focus on. And I'm going to share with you, just exactly a week ago when I was due to release another podcast and my book was going out. I had just finished literally, tidying up all the references. There's something like 250 references and largely peer-reviewed, data from the scientific research and medical journals and whatnot. And I had it kind of all tidied up. I just finished revamping the format of everything. And unfortunately, I was not thinking straight, but I did like a copy and paste function of like 250, 300 pages of manuscript, and it crashed my computer. And it was saved on one of these iCloud, notes, and it just totally crashed my computer, and the whole thing was gone. Like literally all probably 300, if it's double space, might have been 400 pages worth of data was literally in one keystroke gone, disappeared, completely gone. And I literally, I know it sounds corny, but I kind of saw my life flashing before my eyes, and I was just like, I did the kind of deer in the headlights thing, I'll be honest. I was just like in complete disbelief. How could it just be gone? Don't they have a backup for the cloud? And, no offense to Apple. Apple's amazing. I have like 10 Apple products, maybe more, between myself and my kids. And, what I learned is they don't really have backup on the cloud. Like what was there 5 minutes ago, if you somehow your computer overwrote it, or you did this copy and paste thing like I did, and some freaky thing happened, your computer crashed and things got, overwritten or something. I don't know. This must have been what happened to mine. It's literally gone. They haven't been able to come up with it. It's been a week. I've been able to, oh my gosh, I spent probably 12 hours on the phone trying to work through this. And what I did find, and so if this ever happens to you and you happen to have an Apple device, immediately turn off your Wi-Fi. Immediately turn off your Wi-Fi. And what you could do, and I wish the first person would have told me this, but you can turn off your Wi-Fi, and then you can look and see that device that you had it on, say 5 minutes ago. If that device hasn't been backed up yet, then you can potentially basically start that device as a new device. Go back to the initial, delete all settings, go back to factory menus, and you can basically start that device over as a backup of, hopefully the backup was done within maybe a week or maybe even a few hours or something. You can basically redo that device as what it looked like on the date of its last backup. Unfortunately, even though I have like 10 devices, they're like literally backing up all the time because they're, they're turned on to Wi-Fi. And so I was not able to get any of my devices to have, like today's copy of the of the information on a backup. I was able to get one that was, I think initially one that was like 6 months old. And so I had part of my manuscript, which was great. And then I got one that was a couple of months old, which had, maybe 75% of it. So I still, unfortunately, I didn't get the whole thing back. And I think the proverbial, boat has sailed, the ship has sailed, so to speak. But I was able to get a big chunk of it. So the book is still coming out. I've been working with kind of a publisher's assistant this past week. I've been frantically writing 12 hours a day, just trying to catch up. And the good news is, for those of you who are watching, it's all right here in my head and in my heart. So I can reproduce it. I will reproduce it. It will be better than ever. It's going to be amazing. I'll even have a fresh new, oh my gosh, eye to it, just a fresh new vision on it after this craziness happens. So all is never lost. And, in my career as a physician, I kind of have the perspective that, no matter what happens, even if it's a big thing, like for me, this was a huge thing. It was literally almost 3 years of my life. I've been working on this book and intensively for almost 2 years, 18 months, pretty intensively since the beginning of this COVID thing. I've kind of been doing some different work stuff, and I've had, I worked during COVID for quite a while, about a year into it. And in the last, 6 months or so, I've been mostly doing writing and podcasting and researching and a lot of stuff like that, and coaching and things. And so I've had all this time to collect all this data and write all these things, and literally in the just one keystroke, it was gone. And I just want to tell you that, oh my gosh, like Tony says, what's wrong is always available. And sometimes that's front and center. But so is what's right. None of my kids died, they were still here with me. I gave my kids a big hug. My wife gave me a hug. I had to quickly turn my state around. Tony Robbins, I'll just mention him again. He always talks about state management, how you can, flip from being like down and out and depressed and just pump it up in a moment. And that's physiology that can do that. And as a scientist, I understand physiology very well. And I change that through movement. I'll jump up and down, take some deep breaths. Or I was, close to the beach when this happened. I was able to go out, and after being on the phone a couple hours, I just needed a break and things weren't materializing. I just needed to change my state. I went out and it might not have even been more than 15 or 20 minutes, but I went out, got in the water. It was kind of a little bit cool and refreshing. I'm not wearing a wetsuit or anything, and seasons have changed. It's not warm water anymore so much. And I got out there. I had a little bit of a cold plunge challenge. I think the water on that particular day was 60 something degrees. I don't know. To me, it felt pretty cold. And I got a couple of waves and flushed my sinuses, and I changed my state. And I talk about this in the book, the power of movement, how not only can you change your state, your physiology, which is what I really needed at the moment, but it's so stinking beneficial for life. The positive hormones, the brain hormones, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, so many amazing things that happen when you just change your state. So I know it's a crazy time, and stuff can, light us up here and there, what we may hear or see or whatever on the news or social media. I try not to take too many doses of a lot of those things because it's generally not positive, right? No matter what network you watch, rarely is the news positive. And so I try not to watch much of that. I catch the headlines here and there and stuff like that. I'm not like naive to it, but I don't focus on it because I don't find that it uplifts me. So anyway, what's positive is always available. So is what's negative. Just choose to focus on the positive. It's there. Sometimes you got to dig deep, like I had to in the moment. But from my ER perspective, training, it's like, well, nobody died. It's not that big of a deal. I felt like my heart stopped in the moment. I was just like, I sunk a couple 100 feet in a philosophical sense. I just couldn't believe it was gone. But it's coming back. It's right here. It's right here. We're going to get it back to you, and it's going to be better, new and improved, better than before. So without more of that, I just want to let you know that this power of gratitude is amazing. Not only can it change your state, and we're going to talk about a couple other things in this podcast that I think will help you with the upcoming holidays, how not to, gain weight and stuff. But it's Thanksgiving today, so I got to start off with gratitude. And that can just change everything in your life. If you view your life, even your day, with a lens anchored in gratitude, it opens up a beautiful state, a beautiful, feeling. It's really everything. Gratitude is everything. I don't think you can be like upset, angry, frustrated, and grateful at the same time. I just don't think that's possible. If you have an overwhelming gratitude and you're taking a breath, you're thinking about what's right in you, your life, your family, the world. There are things that are right in the world. I know sometimes we get caught up in all that's going wrong, but there are beautiful people, beautiful things, there's so much beauty in the world. And sometimes we just need to think of a couple of things. In fact, this study I'm going to share with you, pretty cool study, that talks exactly about gratitude. Their intervention, prospective trial, the highest order of scientific evidence, they studied it in two groups of people. So one group of people, they looked at, they basically asked them every day for 1 month, so not a super long period of time, for 1 month to write a 3 to 5 item gratitude list once a day. 3 to 5 items. Like, it's not a lot. Like, literally you could do this in 1 minute. But write it down. I think there's power in activating the senses, activating the emotions. You physically do it. You see it with your eyes. You're transcribing it, writing it, you're thinking it, you're activating several senses. So when you do that, it really sinks a little deeper. And focus on 1 or 2 minutes a day, writing a gratitude journal, 3 or 5 items each day, and have a moment where you focus on that. And so this simple intervention they did, let me just tell you exactly. So 3 to 5 item list. It was a randomized trial with 1,337 participants. So it wasn't just like an N of 10 or an N of 30. Like, that's pretty solid. It was published in the Frontiers of Psychology in 2019. And that's fairly robust. 1,337 patients. And they looked at this gratitude journal. And before the trial, the groups didn't differ. They're basically the same age group, same, basic features. And then what they found, which was pretty interesting, were a couple of things. So they found that, 3 big things changed. So number one, and these changes were significant. If you've taken a course in statistics, there's a certain way to determine significance. These 3 things came up as significantly different in the intervention group, the people that did the 3 to 5 item gratitude list. So they found it increased their positive state, or positive affect is kind of the term we use in science and in psychology. Your affect is sort of like what you're doing as far as you're feeling at the moment. If you're in a good mood or if you're in a bad mood or whatever, that's kind of your state, and we call that affect. And so it increased positive affect. It increased the positive happiness and satisfaction measure. So this measure of both satisfaction and happiness was increased as well to a significant degree. And also it reduced, namely, the negative affect, or that negative state of mind, negative emotions. It also reduced depression symptoms. So how stinking cool is that? Like, it increased your positive emotional state, it increased your life satisfaction, your happiness, and it decreased the negative. It decreased the depressive symptoms. Like, how freaking cool is that? How amazing is that? So super, super cool. Love this study. Like I said, 1,337 patients. Amazing. Was not a small study. Magnified the positive and it reduced the negative. So I'll share that in the show notes. I just think that's so powerful, to really be able to have something so simple, like literally so simple, but it can change everything. And it can change it in a moment. Like if you just had something, bad happen like I did, with my whole book disappearing, or recently, my mom's diagnosis of end-stage metastatic cancer, like that just came up recently, and it's just a lot. Like, you need to take a deep breath, and, she's still here. And in fact, I'm going to be seeing her this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, which is amazing. I'm so grateful for that. And so this power of gratitude, not only is it so simple, it's available, it's inexpensive. In fact, dang, it's free. We can all do this. I'm challenging you, each and every one, and myself, every day, 3 to 5 things. It's like a 1-minute intervention, 1-minute thing. But if we write down, not just thinking it's great, but if you write it down, it'll even be more powerful. So 3 to 5 things each day. Do it for a month and tell me about your experience. Email me, modernmedicinemovementpodcast@gmail.com. Make a post in Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Tag me at Aloha Surf Doc or Modern Medicine Movement. I want to see this. Tag me. The power of gratitude is real. It's profound. It's free. And it's super simple. So I'll put this study in the show notes. It's exciting. It can be a game changer, a day changer, a moment changer. And honestly, you do this every day, I promise you. I know it's pretty bold. It will change your life if you view life with an eye of gratitude. It's amazing. All right, we're gonna change gears. We're gonna talk about the holidays as well. A lot of us, including me, love to eat all these holiday foods. There's so many amazing ones out there. I just can't wait. Maybe I'll show you a couple of mine on this Thanksgiving Day. But I just love so many things, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks and tools that are simple, also inexpensive, also free, dang it, that you can use this holiday season and really always to not get fat, to not gain weight, to not, even though you're eating amazing stuff, like you can literally eat this stuff. Well, maybe not all of it, like, you're not going to stuff yourself, but you're going to eat lots of cool stuff and you won't gain weight. And so we're going to share a couple of pearls. You guys ready? Sorry, I needed a drink. I was getting... You saw that funny drink if you're watching on YouTube. It's not only a greenish color. I threw in all kinds of funky stuff. But if you want to know what I'm drinking, my green drink, it's awesome. It's like 2 salads in one glass here. And I love salad. Don't get me wrong. I stinking love salad, but I can't. Sometimes you don't have time. You're on the run. You got stuff going. Whatever. So anyway, there's a couple of pearls I'm going to share with you that will help you this holiday season to enjoy all the things, but to not gain weight. Okay, you guys ready? So if you haven't eaten your Thanksgiving meal yet, and really any meal, one of the things you can do, and I mentioned this in the book, is drink, an 8 to 12 ounce glass of water at the beginning of the meal. Okay, like legit. Sounds a little corny, sounds a little hokey, but it's free, right? Just drink a glass of water. It does a lot of things. So water in and of itself has what they call a thermogenic effect. Like there's studies on this, I mentioned them in the book, where drinking water, staying appropriately hydrated, will increase your metabolism. Like we all want our metabolism to increase, right? We think, oh my gosh, Dr. Hemingway here, I'm getting really close now, in my 48th year, and it's coming up on 50, and I feel like my metabolism is slowing down. Well, unfortunately, even though I even sort of believe that, I thought, because I don't have the same ability to, what I thought, eat the same amount of stuff, quantities, all these things, and not put on weight or not feel great, whatever, that I used to when I was in my 20s. At least that's what I thought. But the data actually doesn't show that. At least until you're 60, at least, maybe possibly longer than that, your metabolism does not, N-O-T, does not slow down. Like, it doesn't happen. There's a huge, oh my gosh, I had like 100 authors in the study in the journal. I'm pretty sure it was Nature. It was either Nature or Science. I made a post about it a little while ago, but it's also in the book. And it basically shows that the metabolism does not slow down as we grow up, as we age to the point of at least 60 is kind of what their cutoff was in this study, which is still young. I totally believe that. At 60, I'm going to be doing still all the stuff that I was doing when I was 20, surfing, mountain biking, climbing, snowboarding, skiing, all the things. I'm going to be doing that when I'm 60. I'm coming up on 50. I do all those things still. And even though I had a rough road this past 12 or 14 months, I've broken a few bones and it's been a little weird. I've been set back a little, but I'm not quitting. So this study shows also our metabolism does not slow down, at least not in adulthood, up to age 60 at least. So what changes is we change, right? I know this because I have young kids still. I got a 4-year-old in the house. I got a 6-year-old. I got, a 9-year-old. And they're like, these kids like, you think I'm, animated and these kids, like, I pale in comparison to them. Like, they're bouncing off the walls. They're full of energy. It's, 9 o'clock at night. We're trying to get them to bed, and they're just, super energetic. It's like, oh, my gosh, these kids never stop moving. They're always moving. They're always, doing stuff. And I'm a pretty dang active guy, but I don't think I move as much as my 4-year-old as far as, her activity level. And it's like, we change. I see it. I'm not as active as I was when I was 20. I was talking to my wife when I met her. I was 20, I want to say 23, and I was, super active. It was in my final year of college. I was going surfing in the morning. I'd go mountain biking in the afternoon, and then if I had the whole day off, I would drive out. There's this cool place in Hawaii where I could do some rock climbing. I would literally go rock climbing, mountain biking, and surfing all in the same day. Like, I can't even think of the last time I've done that, probably because geographically it hasn't been possible, but I know I was physically more active then when I was 20 than I am now, my 48th year here. I'm pretty dang active now, but, so if I'm having trouble and I'm thinking my metabolism has slowed down, it hasn't, nor has yours likely. we change. And so we have to focus on how we can increase and boost our metabolism. And I talk all about that in the book. One simple free thing, which I just mentioned, is water. So I digress a little bit. Drink a full glass of water at the outset of the meal. It has this thing called the thermogenic effect. It will boost your metabolism, but it will also stretch the stomach a little bit. And there's some receptors there that sense that physical stretch, and you'll be satiated or feel satiety a little earlier because you'll get that full feeling, and you won't eat so much. You won't overeat. So this holiday season, I want you to try all the things that you really like, but don't necessarily gorge. You don't have to feel gross after the meal. Just taste everything. I want to taste all the things, and I will. And even if there might be a little bit of sugar, like my wife makes yams and she might just use a couple of those little marshmallows that, get crispy on the top, I'm probably going to eat some of that. It still fits into the 80-20 rule. I'm not going to eat a lot of it. I might just have one bite, but I'm going to eat a little bit of everything. But I start my meal, full glass of water, okay? The next thing, which I love, it's my grandfather taught me this one, is to literally take a moment to taste, savor, and chew your food well. This kind of mindfulness eating that we have is powerful. We basically just need to take a moment, focus on what's in front of us, literally focus on our food, on our gratitude of that food. It's going to be something that is powerful. And that mindfulness may just do the trick for us, for our enjoyment. Look up, see who's around us. Don't just do 10 bites in a row like I used to do when I was a teenager, and I would just pow. In Hawaii, we say pow when you're done. Pow hana, done with the workday, or just pow with your food, P-A-U. I would be pow in no time flat. I would not only eat volumes and tons of food, but I would eat it too quickly. I didn't learn this lesson when I was young. My grandfather taught me this, and I've learned it later in life, but basically he was a thin, pretty healthy guy up until, he died at mid-90s. He got pretty old. He had actually diabetes his whole life, his whole adult life, but he watched what he ate. He never lost his vision or his fingers or toes or any of that because he basically took care of himself. He ate a great diet. He actually supplemented. He was taking all kinds of crazy supplements, 80 years ago, or, he it's amazing. You think I take a lot of supplements? This guy, my grandfather, bless his heart, rest in peace, he would take handfuls of supplements back in the day. He was conscious about his health. He was proactive, but he also enjoyed his food. His wife, my grandmother, Donna, she'd make the most amazing food. And my grandfather, I never once saw him overweight, ever in his life. And he would eat all the things, but he was very active. He played racquetball was kind of his thing. He loved racquetball. He always went for a walk. But he ate a lot of great foods. But what he did do was he chewed them well and enjoyed them in the moment. He wasn't stuffing. I never saw him take 3, 4, 5 bites in a row ever. Literally, he would take a bite, chew it. I mean, I think I even called him a rabbit once because he was just he would chew that food really, really well. But he would tell me, what, I enjoyed it. I sensed it. All of those feelings of the taste that your grandmother put in there. He felt all of that. He chewed it well, and he never gained weight. So number 2 is chew your food well, savor it, and use what I like to call mindful eating. So just be in the moment. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the senses, the taste, all the things, especially this holiday season. There's so many cultural, ethnic foods of all different varieties out there. Take a moment to just enjoy it. Savor each bite. And in so doing, you won't overeat. You're not going to feel crappy after the meal. You can enjoy all those flavors, and you will be much less likely to gain weight. And another thing he taught me is literally you take a bite and then just set the fork down. Just put it back on the table. Just set the thing down between every bite. And then you can look up and you can see who's there with you. Is it your significant other, your children, grandchildren, cousins, brothers, sisters, whatever, friends, people you love to spend time with? Look up. See who's in the room. Make conversation, right? So you guys probably know this, and I mentioned in the book, but I took a trip. Well, actually, my wife and I took 2 trips to Italy years ago. One was early in our marriage, and one was right before we had our first child, who's now 15, so must have been at least 16 years ago. It's been a while. We need to get back there. I would love to. And what I noticed about the Italians is that almost none of them were overweight. In fact, I don't know if I ever saw an Italian that was overweight. And what they did, and I ate their foods. Like, I didn't bring any power bars, like none of that. I just ate whatever they had. And the food, if you guys have been to Italy or France or anywhere in the Mediterranean, like, holy moly, talk about a sensation, senses, like gustatory overload. Like, the food is amazing. So the so-called Mediterranean diet, like, it's no wonder it's healthy because it's not processed. Almost nothing comes in a package with a label. Like, they're just making it fresh, pressed olive oil, the fresh breads from starter, the fresh soups, even pasta is homemade and things like that. Like, they just didn't use anything processed. But what I noticed is these guys literally at dinner, like, I'm such a ADD kind of guy. Like, after 15 minutes, I'm like, I want to move or whatever. But these guys would sit and eat dinner for 2 or 3 hours. And I'm sure they ate a decent amount of food, but they chewed it. They enjoyed it. They were with people. Their just satisfaction level being with family and friends. That's also a key to living a long life, is just your community, your social network as far as your family, your friends, and just enjoying your life. You'll live longer just having a positive outlook. Just like that. I think you add like 7 years to your life if you are hopeful for the future. And if you play a racket sport, you add like another almost 7 years. So there you go. You add 14 years to your life simply right there. I just told you something in the book, and that's kind of a cool, fun thing. But these Italians, they slowed down. I never saw them just shoveling it in. Like, they would eat one bite, put their fork down, and they would look up and they would chat, converse. And then afterwards, what did they do? They all went for a walk. Go for a walk after you eat this Thanksgiving. Don't just lie in, the couch or whatever. Go for a little walk. Get some sunshine. Take a couple of breaths of fresh air. For me, I'm going to be in a place that'll be a little bit cold. Thanksgiving weekend, I'm going to be in Utah, seeing my family, and it's going to be cold. I'm still going to go for a walk. I promise. I'm going to get outside, get some fresh air. And so that final thing was slow down. Okay. So drink a full glass of water, savor every bite by chewing, putting your fork down between bites, and then just in general, slow down. There's actually a really cool study I wanted to share with you. It's been shown in children, adults, youth, all age groups, that if you slow down and you don't do what I used to do as a kid, teenager, and even young adult, I would literally just scarf up my food because I just felt like I didn't have time. I was too rushed. I had, 100 things on my plate, and I just, physically and literally, and, and I have things to do, and I just couldn't sit still for very long. And so I would eat too quickly. But if you slow down, you'll be less likely to gain weight for a couple of reasons. Physiologically speaking, your hormones have a chance to, jump in. Your ghrelin, your hunger hormone, will go down. Your leptin, the satiety hormone, will go up. You'll be able to get the proper signals. There's also the stretch receptors in your stomach that send hormonal signals. So all these things have time to work, and this whole process takes about a half an hour. So if you eat in 5 minutes and then get up and go do something, you haven't really been able to activate all the appropriate hormones that are there for you. And so this study, and there's been, like I said, lots of studies that have shown this, but I really like this study because it was in young people, children and youth. And what they showed in this study was that if they ate quickly, they had the tendency to eat fast, that they had a much more likely future of getting overweight, obese, diabetes, the so-called metabolic syndrome. I talk all about that in the book. And that was due to eating quickly. And so they said they had a 3 times higher chance of becoming overweight and developing the metabolic syndrome than those that ate slowly. So slow it down. Slow it down. Enjoy the moment. Just think about the Italians. Slow it down. Also, they found, this was kind of interesting. They found that those people who were more likely to eat family meals, like together as a family, were also less likely to gain weight. And so this is probably a multifactorial thing. They were in an environment where they were positive. They were probably conversing and talking. I think this study was done before everybody had a phone in their hand. But hopefully when you're eating dinner with your family, the rule is put your cell phone down or whatever and, turn it off so that you're just conversing with each other, enjoying. I know people play this game, right? When they go out on a group date, everybody puts their cell phone in the center of the table, and the first one that has to grab for their cell phone, like maybe they got to buy everybody drinks or something like that. Like, just put the phone down, look up, appreciate your community, family, your friends, and enjoy your meal. Like, these simple things In fact, this eating with family, they had a 9 times more likely of not getting fat if they ate with family. So if they didn't really eat family meals and they were just, cooking stuff up ad lib, like whenever they wanted and quickly eating and whatnot, they had a 9 times greater chance of getting obese. Like, holy crap. And this is in the Journal of Preventive Medicine and Public Health. I'll put that in the show notes. But it's amazing. Like, these are simple things. I mentioned about 5 things today, and every one of them is not only simple, but it's free. It doesn't cost any money. Drink a full glass of water. Do intuitive eating, mindful eating, enjoy the moment, savor each bite, chew well. Like my grandfather said, put your fork down between meals, and then just enjoy the company. Slow down. Don't eat a 5, 10, 15-minute meal. Minimum 30 minutes. Take that time to appreciate the company that you're with. I encourage you to eat at least one family meal, and if it's just you and a partner, eat at least one meal together each day. And look at each other and smile and talk and share. And, maybe it's the hard stuff. Maybe it's the good stuff. A little bit of everything is fine, but just that community and that social network will increase your enjoyment of life, your longevity. You'll live longer, and the moment will be much more enjoyable, and you'll be less likely to gain weight. Like, holy crap, so many cool things. So that's it for today. I just wanted to share those cool things with you guys, just because not only are they proven, there's actually data on it, but they're simple and they're free, and they're just, I've noticed in my own life that they can definitely be powerful. They can move the needle. I've used them recently, and today being Thanksgiving Day, going to be using them all day long because I'm going to enjoy all the things. I just love, love, love that. So I hope you guys will too. Happy Thanksgiving today. Happy holidays this season. I just hope you'll take a moment to enjoy your family, your friends, whoever you're going to spend it with. Even if you're not with anybody, maybe you can make a quick phone call, FaceTime, whatever, and say hi to your family and friends, whoever it is you may be grateful for, and just take a moment. All right? Slow down. Do that little challenge that I made for you. Do a gratitude journal. Take 3 to 5 items every day and write them down. It can be done in 60 seconds. Do that. And then share with me how you've done it, how it's affected you. Tag me, and I'll post it up in my story at Aloha Surf Doc or at Modern Medicine Movement. Reach out to me on Facebook, Thomas Hemingway, or Modern Medicine Movement Health and Wellness free group, or just email me, modernmedicinemovementpodcast@gmail.com. Please, please, please sign up for the free newsletter, dang it. Because even if you haven't gotten it today, you can get it tomorrow still, I think, if you sign up today. So modernmedicinemovement.com. Be looking for my book. I'm just praying that we can get it together and get it out early next year. I don't know if it'll make January, but I am speaking in January at the Align Ambition event. I hope you guys will sign up for that. It's amazing. Align, ALIGN, eventslive.com. Like, holy crap, it's going to have Dave Hollis is going to be there. Like, what? And his, partner right now, who's amazing, Heather, is going to be, it's like, holy crap. The lineup, my wife, myself, it's going to be amazing. AlignEventsLive.com. Sign up. The tickets are going quick. And happy Thanksgiving and a big aloha.